Hello, the internet. My name is Samuel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the fastest way to learn how to code in Python there is. So the first thing you're going to do is install PyCharm. And the way to do that is you go ahead and go to your browser and type in PyCharm download. And I'll go ahead and put this in the description, a link to this website. You're going to go ahead and click Community Download. Once that downloads, you'll go ahead and open up the exe, which is found in your Downloads file. You go to File Explorer, Downloads, and it'll be found right here. Once you've done that, it'll open up a Community Edition setup. Go ahead and click Next. You won't see this screen. I have PyCharm installed already, so go ahead and ignore this. Click Next. Now, you're going to go ahead and want to browse and go to whichever place on your computer that you want to install it. I'm going to install this tutorial in my PyCharm tutorial installation folder. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and hit Next. You're going to want to hit Add Bin, folder to the path, and create associations.py. The reason we're going to add it to the path is because Python needs access to the path in order to do a lot of its base functions, and so this just makes it easier as we go down the road to accomplish the coding that we need to do. So go ahead and hit Next. Now this is going to say, where do you want to put the Start Menu folder that is going to give us shortcuts for PyCharm. Now, there is no default PyCharm folder, so what you go and do is you go to this file path, and in here you'll see that this is the same list that PyCharm has pulled up here, but you can see here my JetBrains tutorial is in here, so go ahead and create a folder and call it JetBrains, and then go ahead and hit install. Select the folder and hit install. So once that's done, it's going to go ahead and ask you to reboot your computer to complete the setup. I'm going to go ahead and reboot now because I want to get this done quickly. Welcome back. So you just restarted your computer. Now you need to go to the place that you installed your PyCharm Community Edition. You're going to get this screen. Enter bin and go down to pycharm.exe. You can choose to make this a shortcut on your computer's desktop. Go ahead and open it up. Alright, now that that's installed, we're going to create our very first Python project. To do so, you're going to go ahead and click File, New Project, and then select the location by either going to here and clicking the folder and selecting it in the drive, or by typing in the file path. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and leave all this stuff as default, give it a name up here, don't forget to do that, and then hit create. I've already done so, so we can get right into the very first part of coding. Alright, now that we've created that new project, what we're going to do is create a new file. I do not like their basic main here, so what we're going to do is click main.py and hit delete. Delete file main.py? Okay, let's do it. So now we're going to right click on Python Crash Course and click Python file. You can name this whatever you want, but I'm going to name it hello world.py. Awesome. So now that we have a new file, what we want to do is tell the computer to tell us something. And the way we do that is with the function print. Anytime you call a function, you want to type in the name of the function and then parentheses. That's just the syntax that Python uses. Now, right now, if we press Ctrl-Shift-F10 to run the program, it's only going to print out a blank line because we didn't tell print to actually print anything. The way we get print to actually print something is by passing it in information. Pass is just a phrase used in programming to say giving a function something to use. So we want to pass into print, the function, a string. And a string is declared using quotation marks or these like apostrophes, but usually quotation marks if it's more than a character, and then whatever you want to pass in. So we're going to say hello world. Control Shift F10, and now we can see that our program has typed out hello world. Nice. So now we've printed hello world, but we have a problem. What if we want to print multiple of the same thing? What if I want to say print hello world, print hello world? Now, there's no real reason that we would do it like this, but right now, if we go ahead and press Control Shift F10, or this green triangle up here, we'll see hello world, hello world, hello world, right? Because we've typed it in 3 times. Now, what if I want to type in hello world everyone, and I wanted that to type 3 times? Well, then I would have to go in here and type it in 3 different places. And I don't want to do that, because that took 5 or 6 seconds of my precious time. And so what we can do is create something called a variable. And in Python, variables are very simple. We don't have to give them any names, like strings or floats. We can just say test variable or printed variable. Any name works. I could call this a dog named Sue. Okay, I wouldn't do that because good practice means that your variables are descriptive. So I'm going to go ahead and call this printed names. Alright, and I'm going to set this equal to what we want to print. And I want it to print hello everyone. So what we can do now is replace hello world everyone with printed names. And we can do that in these 3 spots. And if we press Control Shift F10, then it'll say hello everyone, and it'll say it 3 times. So this is the basic of variables in PyCharm and in Python. And you'll see that these have a lot of uses as we go throughout coding, because we never want to type in things more than once. If it's only going to be used once, you can hard code it. You can type hello everyone. But if you're going to use it more than once, then you want to put it in a variable, because if you're going to use it twice, then the odds are that you're going to use it 3 times. You'll come back to the code and you'll realize, oh, I needed to use it again. And so then you won't have the variable. You'll have it all of a sudden hard-coded in 2 or 3 times, and it'll be a complete waste of time. Now we have a program that will type hello everyone to the user numerous times. But what if I want the computer to tell me hello everyone an indefinite number of times? Well, then we would have to have a way of saying print printed names without actually typing it every single time we wanted to say print printed names. And luckily for us, Python has a way to do that through what's called a function. So to create a function, we would say def, and then the name of the function, so type printed names, parentheses, parentheses, colon. And then we would just put the content of what we want to put in there. And so we're going to say printed names. And then we can call the function by saying type printed names. And don't forget the parentheses. And so what will happen is the program runs, and if you look at my mouse, it goes line 1, it declares printed names as a variable, it gets to line 3 and 4, and it says that this function exists, and then it gets to line 5, nothing happens, in line 6 it says, oh, well we need to access this function. So it goes back up to line 3 and goes into here and says, oh, well we need to print printed names. So if we run this, we'll see that we get hello everyone once. So Python requires that your definition is above your calling of it, because the computer doesn't actually know that this function exists until we get to it, because code runs linearly. It runs one line at a time. So now that we have a function, we can say type printed names, and so now we have hello everyone, hello everyone, hello everyone. But what if we want to tell the computer to type something different every time? What if we want to tell it to output a name? Well, then we can do what's called passing in a variable. And I touched on this earlier. We can say, what variable do we want? Well, we want a name. So we can put that in this holding block. You can think of the parentheses as holding blocks for variables. And what do we want to pass into the holding block? Well, we want to pass a name. And in this instance, I want to pass in, let's say my own name. I want to pass in Samuel. So now, when we run this, type printed names will get Samuel assigned to its variable of name. So if we go ahead and change printed names to hello, alright, we can say printed names, comma name, right? And so it'll print out printed names, and then it'll put a space because of the comma, and then it'll print out the name that I give it. So if I press Control-Shift-F10, it'll say hello Samuel. Or if I say Aubrey, it'll say hello Aubrey. And you could put anything in here, alright? You could put another variable in here. So what if I put name here, alright? Or example name, because we already have name here and we don't want to use that over and over again for good practice. So I could say example name Google, alright? Now we could replace Aubrey, we could replace this holding block with a variable. And now we are saying hello Google. But the good thing is now, if we want to type any two sets of names, we can. We can say, what is your occupation? And then we could say, oh, comma, I am a carpenter. And so now, it's all in here. And this is the power of variables, is imagine if you had 1,000 lines of code and this stuff was showing up everywhere. Well, then what you could do is you could just change it in one spot, and then all throughout your thousands of lines of code, it would update. And so that's why variables are really, really powerful. So to kind of recap, this episode we went over installation of PyCharm, how to print out hello world for your first program, what variables are and what functions are, and how code runs linearly. In the next episode, we're going to take a look a little bit deeper into functions, and we're going to take a look at loops. And we're going to go a little bit deeper on to variable names and their types. Alright, well thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, if it helped you out, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And if by any chance you guys are in CompSci 1010 or something like that and you're learning this specifically for college, go ahead and drop a comment on there and let me know, because I know that my professors at the time did not do a very good job introducing us to Python. They were way, way outside of the realm of what a beginner really knows. And so that's kind of the point of why I was doing this series, is so people who are trying to catch up, who've never had any programming experience and are in that position, can catch up a lot faster. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have just a fantastic rest of your day.